Kevin Boblin and Brent Long on the float. Mayor said if he's going to build a cow, his son was going to milk it. Third place in the non-commercial division. Our next unit, Jack Crowder, wave radio and TV personality. Another man closely related to the agriculture business and the farm products. How are you, Jack? He said Bill Bob had a twin. Boy, if he has, God help us. You see, when I get hold of this thing, I can say anything I want. Now, when they get me out back, I'm in trouble. But for about an hour, I've got free reign. State Senator Ed O'Daniel in our next unit. Senator O'Daniel is always a participant. We're glad to have him each and every year. This next fella, a good friend of mine, and quite an achievement on his part. Tony Hurst and his family. Tony was elected Nelson County's Farmer of the Year. He's got his wife Connie with him and their two children, Brian and Veronica. And to give you a little idea of what Tony has done, he and his father farm together. They farm about 800 acres. Besides raising children, they also raise tobacco, corn, soybeans, feeder steers, dairy cattle, hogs, and other sundry items. Tony Hurst, Nelson County's Farmer of the Year. Another fella coming down the pike that a lot of you feel like you know. You've seen him on TV. He's cured a lot of problems for you. Told you why your Johnson grass wouldn't grow. You know, I have trouble growing Johnson grass. That tells you what kind of farmer I am. Fred Wishing. Fred's a farm director for WHAS Radio and Television. He's also widely known as a weekend gardener from his home gardening programs on radio and TV. Fred's also a co-grand marshal for us this year. Sometimes we get a little break in between these units, and you're going to have to listen to a lot of things you probably didn't want to hear, but I'm glad you came because I've been wanting to sing. But a lot of these folks got live animals. Keep your eyes open. Like I told you earlier, when they came up with this theme, Down on the Farm, boy, they hit it right on the head. These folks went out and went to work, and there's a couple of folks got just farm animals all over it. Another co-grand marshal, Ken Schultz from WA, provided by the Old Kentucky Home Pork Producers. Mark Holt's the driver, and riding on the float we got Barbie Coons, Kip and Jude Filiatri, and Dana and Amanda Holt. These folks will be throwing out some certificates. If you catch one, you could catch one that'd give you a free pork chop. So take them down to the pork chop stand and get you a free pork chop. Look at those little pigs on that thing, riding motorcycles, tricycles in there, one straight back. Next unit in this parade is one of my favorites. Not necessarily this particular unit, but I always like the bands. Barstown's band, Nelson County band are always here. I love the marching bands. I was up there this morning getting ready, trying to get a little information, and one of those bands cranked up, and I'm telling you, it was like being at a football game on Saturday afternoon. You had cold chills up and down your spine inside that warehouse. But our next band is the Barstown High School Marching Band. The Barstown High School Marching Tiger Band, directed by Dana Scaglione, field commanders Christian Purcell. Number of playing members is 56. They've got 10 auxiliary members. Their theme song is Brothers of Pop. Barstown High Fight Song, and the awards for 1984 include Southern Indiana Band Festival, Charlestown, Indiana. They were second place at Southern Indiana and first place in Charleston, Indiana. Percussion in the same event. The Barstown High School Marching Tigers. Walker is a representative of the state of Kentucky, also a farmer. Mr. Boswell took office in January of 1984. He's born in Henderson, Kentucky. He has a family, been related to the farm for many, many years. Next, another award-winning float, Nelson County Chamber of Commerce float. Their theme was down on the farm in the early 1900s. On this float, you'll find Henry Dayton, Jack Barnes, Ray Mendenhall, Ann Sheena, and Nathan Mendenhall, carrying the banners Teresa Hazard and Beth Horton, and the tractors being driven by Cletus Weller. Second place in the non-commercial division for the Nelson County Chamber of Commerce. And live and in color from the Kentucky State Fair, we've got the Fair Bears. They're courtesy of the Kentucky State Fair and Exposition Center in Louisville, and they are the official Fair Bears. It says that next year's fair is August 15th through the 24th in Louisville. While we got a little break, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Council for Burley Tobacco. Bernard Midden, who was in the last unit before the Fair Bears, is president, newly elected president of the Council for Burley Tobacco. And he is the Burley Tobacco Council is an umbrella organization that's used to promote the Burley tobacco industry. Its funds come from voluntary checkoff on Burley sales, and its members represent a cross-section of the industry, including growers, dealers, warehousemen, and others. Parade, we always have politicians, and there's plenty of them here today. Our first one is Mitch McConnell, who is a Jefferson County Judge Exec, and he's also a candidate for the U.S. Senate. Judge Mitch McConnell from Louisville. Ladies and gentlemen, you see something you like, give him a big hand. Judge McConnell said that if he won, there'd be a chicken in every pot and a Corvette in every garage. Well, I thought he said that anyway. Well, the first three floats we look at are all winners. The next one is a float sponsored by our own restaurant here in town. Miss Penny Air and Terry run Penny's Place. This float won third in the commercial division. The theme for this float is that food comes from down on the farm to the restaurant. The float was built by Penny and her husband. Driving the truck is Brian Prather. It says our nation is blessed by great farmers, many of whom live here in Nelson County, who are able to bountifully supply our tables with food. Everyone enjoys sitting down to a good meal and eating our fill, so come on down to Penny's Place for some good food. Now, the little lady with the cook's hat on is Miss Penny's daughter, Laura, and she does all the cooking up the restaurant. She does all the heavy work. I see, we got some little, look at her, she's stirring it up. We got chickens on this float. We see it, they take them live up there, pick them and pluck them and take them right on to the kitchen. Good potato crop, too. A real treat to have this next man at our own Bloomfield Tobacco Festival. Walter Wilkerson is a world champion tobacco auctioneer. He's sponsored here today by R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company, who has done a tremendous job for the tobacco industry in promoting a program that is in dire need of help. Mr. Walter Wilkerson, the world champion tobacco auctioneer.